Hi, welcome back to Christine's Home Affairs. For years now I've been making pocket tissue pouches with a horizontal opening. This style is new to me. I did a video for it last week, but I have done another video where I overlap the pieces and your tissues come out horizontally. Most tissue packets don't come out that way. They open from the top. For the last year or so I've been trying to figure out a way to have the opening at the top of the tissue packet. And I think I just overthought it. It was so complicated, it just wouldn't work out for me. When I did this one, a few people put theirs up on our Facebook group the other day, and I had a light bulb moment. It's like, how simple are these tissue holders? Here they are. So I've made a couple today. This has the opening at the top because most of our tissue packets have a little curved thing at the front. You flip it up and you pull your tissues out from the top rather than the centre. Usually in the centre ones I'll just slice it open with a seam ripper and have the tissues there ready for the customers. But today I'm going to show you how to make these pocket tissue holders with a swivel clip on the side. You can attach it to your bag or your key ring or even a kid's school bag. And they have the top opening, so all you need to do is open them up and pull your tissues out from the top. Let's get to it. Won't take long at all. Okay, we need very little for this project. We need one piece for the outer fabric, and then you want a contrast piece for the lining, a small strip of fabric for the tab, a swivel clip. Now the tab and the swivel clip are optional. If you don't want to put them on, you don't have to. And of course you're going to need a packet of tissues that open at the top. And I think most of them do these days. So it's up to you if you want to stabilise this. If you do, then put some interfacing on your lining fabric. So that's all we need. And the tab and the swivel if you like. And here are the measurements. Okay, first thing we're going to do is take our tab fabric. Now mine's twice as long as it needs to be because I'm going to be making two of them. What you'll do is with the 1.5 inch side, fold those raw edges in and fold that in again. So you'll have 2 inches in length across here and the shorter length folded in. Sew this down both long edges. Once I've done that, I can cut that in half and that'll give me a 2-inch strip. With this piece, we'll place the right sides together. So if this were a printed fabric, I would have the printed sides facing. We're going to do this the opposite way to what we did the other day in the other pocket tissue pouch. So the short ends, clip those together, same on this side, and we'll sew the two short ends together. Whilst we're at the machine, we'll do our tab. We just need a 1/4 inch seam allowance for this. And backstitch. And repeat for the other end. Grab your tab fabric. You really don't need to sew down both long edges. Just closing up the side is fine. I think it's just habit though. All right, we've sewn our fabric together. The tab is done. We can cut that in half because we only need a 2-inch piece. Place your fabric through the bottom of your swivel clip and we'll just hold that in place for the moment. Turn your fabric the right way out. Press the seams too while you're at it, and then fold this over so that the contrast fabric is evenly distributed on the end there without there being any pleats or puckers in the back. Once you've done that, give that a really good press. Next, we're going to place the right side down and fold this fabric up so that it measures 4 3/8 or 11 centimetres from the bottom. So we've got the folded fabric here. From the top of that fold down to the bottom, you want your fabric to measure 4 3/8 of an inch or 11 centimetres. Secure those sides just for now. And then we're going to take this end and fold that over so that it completely overlaps the contrast fabric that you've got. So what I'm going to have is just one facing of that pink strip of fabric. Once you've clipped those edges together, grab your tab and your swivel clip, and we're going to place this on the left side here. Doesn't really matter where you put it, but you don't want to have it at the top here because we're going to be boxing the corners after. So I will place my tab just a little bit below the pink strip there. Probably only about 1/4 of an inch down. But as I said, it really doesn't matter where you put it. You don't even have to use it. Remember to backstitch at the beginning and the end, and over these layers here. I'll triple stitch over that. Flip it around and come back and do the other side. Okay, now that we've done that, we can trim this edge really close to the stitching line. I've got 1/4 of an inch seam along here. I'll just cut half of that off. Then we can turn this inside out and poke out your corners. Once your corners are nice and pointy, we'll flatten this out again, and I'm going to go and iron this one more time. I've pressed that so that it sits nice and flat. What I'm going to do now on the long edges is sew another 1/4 of an inch seam, and that will neaten up those edges that we've got on the other side. So just 1/4 of an inch seam all the way down. Once again, on this overlap, I'm going to triple stitch over that as well. Now we've got our swivel clip underneath here. Just be careful when you're sewing that it doesn't shift over to the side. You want to make sure it's well out of the way, otherwise you'll break your needle. Remember to make sure that your metal clip is well out of the way. Alright, with that done, we're now going to box the corners. Now, normally for box corners on a French seamed project, I would turn it back the other way, do the box corners, trim it, turn it back in and box the corners again on the inside. We won't be doing that with this because this project is way too small. Where you've got the crease at the bottom here, just put your fingers in there, separate the fabric. I've made a little mark along the bottom edge there so that you can see what is supposed to be the fold in the fabric. This line here needs to line up with our stitching line. So bring your fabric out into a point like this, and this seam wants to fold away from the opening that we've got here. So because we're on the bottom, I'm going to just move that seam over to my right, and then I'm going to measure across 1/2 an inch or about 1.2 or 3 centimetres. Mark a line across there. Clip that together for now. We'll do the same on this side. We want this seam lining up with the bottom of our pouch, and this seam, I don't want that in the direction of the opening. I'll bring it to the other side. Measure that one more time, clip it together, and at the top end we'll do the same. So you can just finger press that with your nails If you've got any, mine are a bit worn out, line up that fold at the top with the seam once again. And again, we want this seam facing away from the opening that we have here. Okay, so we've got our opening here. Just double check that the seam that you've got on the side is facing away from the opening. We can go and stitch across those corners. There's a lot of bulk here, so I'll triple stitch over that. So this is all finished now. You don't have to do anything with these ears at all. You can just leave them sitting as they are. Turn it the right way out. Poke out your corners. And let's find our tissues. Pop that inside. And there we have our finished pocket tissue pouch. So once you've opened up your tissues, you can just separate the opening there and pull a tissue out. Simple as that. I'm glad I finally nutted that out. And there we have the other one with the opening going lengthwise. So how simple was that? I really cannot believe it. I tried for such a long time to try and work out how I was going to do these easily, and it turned out it was just way too easy anyway. Pocket tissue pouches. I did a time trial on these. I'm going to try these in the shop. It took me 12 minutes to make one. That doesn't count the cutting out of the fabric. If I were to batch sew these, I would probably cut up a great big strip of fabric of the lining and the outer fabric, sew it all together like the tube that we've done, and then slice it up into those 4.5 inch widths. That'll save loads of time, and I could probably get these down to 10 minutes. And I think that would also include the time it takes to cut. So I'd get quite a few of these done in an hour, at least 5, possibly 6. If I only sold them for $10 each, that's a fairly good profit. I mean, $60 an hour. Then you take off the cost of materials and the packet of tissues on the inside. When I sell these types of tissue holders in the shop, I always provide the tissues on the inside there. That way the customer knows exactly what they're for and they don't have to worry about purchasing any. I buy them in bulk just from the local discount store or the $2 shop. So finally, I've been able to figure out what I was supposed to do with the opening at the top. I hope you guys like it. Are you going to sew these to sell? Or did you already know about this before I did? Sometimes it takes a while for me to catch up. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video and I shall catch you next time. Bye for now.